Yeah, that's it.
Sweet. So can you tell us about the theme of the new album?
We definitely can do that.
We can definitely talk about the theme of the new record.
We're going to talk about
That's something that we're going to do.
We're going to start right now with Paul talking about it first.
Well, I think it would be best explained if you talked about it first.
Sure. Well, the best way I can explain it is that once Paul said this really insightful thing about it, which is that I'm actually going to do it now. Okay, so
Talk about the theme now.
talking about the theme. So this is a concept record, is what we're saying. But the thing is, the way we found most concept records to be is that they're like a linear story, you know, sort of like as though you were like taking pages from a book and like in that order writing a record as such, developing a character, so on. Things happen to one character. This
Didn't want to do that this time.
Not this
Said,
time.
not for us.
This is how the Wind Shifts operates on a different plane, where we have side A and side B, and there are 7 completely separate, yet somehow connected, but not really, separate stories on one side, and on the flip side, side B, we have like answers or, you know, alternate endings or different perspectives or some kind of reply to that initial one. So if, for example, one song is about, you know, maybe missing someone while they're away and you're, you know, waiting for them, the next one being, you know, they're being away and you not wanting them to come home because of whatever reason you may have. So that's the best I can do with the concept. It's really however you want to build it, but that's the basis.
The basis, yes.
Alright, so like every band, you've said that this latest release is your best work. What makes this one your best standout for you guys?
Because we actually believe it. And those other artists that say that don't believe them, because I don't think they really believe it.
They're lying.
But I think, honestly, we felt the most passionate about the album and the songwriting and the themes and really just how it all came together. We were all working 100% together and as a unit, and I think that functionality really increased because of it, and I think we're really just proud of something that we all created together.
So when writing, were there any moments that you'd like, you could have another time over? Would you do it differently?
No.
No. We'll say no.
So you performed 3 of the tracks acoustically for a couple of bonus tracks on the record. You guys nailed the solo stuff pretty well. Do you ever think that you're in the wrong genre?
It's in the genre just where like the record store like puts your CD in. So like if they could just like move our CD to another like plastic bin, it would just like be in a different genre, and then we wouldn't have to do anything, right?
I think the genre thing is sort of something that people outside the band decide. It's not like when we sat down to make this record, or I'm sure with any other record, they were like, okay, it's time to make a post-hardcore record, or, you know, you just write what you write, and what happens. So like, I mean, I know Paul and I barely listen to music with guitars in it. So like, for us to
Don't
write,
like them, not for me.
We write like a heavier record, and it's like, I mean, we didn't decide to make it sound one way or another. It's just sort of what happened. So genre, fuck a genre, who cares?
Who's it for?
Yeah, not for me.
So the band has remained relevant in a scene which seems that it's hard to, I don't know, like continue to maintain all the, yeah. So how do you feel that you've managed to, I guess, remain relevant in this?
I mean, we spend a lot of money on clothes. That's probably one.
Magazines and research.
We do a lot of research. I think. I mean, the big thing is just hard work, probably.
I think, yeah, I was going to elaborate on that, even saying that, like, I don't think the relevancy comes from trend hopping. I think it comes from consistent hard work and even constant touring, because I think bands become irrelevant by maybe not working as hard and retracting from you know, kind of the visibility. Well, I think remaining visible keeps them relevant, you know what I mean? Because, like, if you're there, then you're relevant. If you're not there, you're irrelevant.
Right, I'd say these flash-in-the-pan bands that, you know, spark big on one single, and they do, like, a few big tours, and then they're content with their, like, whatever, 50 grand they made that year, and they sit on their ass forever. Then they put out another record 2 years later that doesn't hit the same way because they didn't do anything for 2 years, and that's why this scene chews up and spits out bands so quickly.
But the bands that are working, and like there's a lot of bands, like even bands like a band like Rise Against, who writes a lot of records and has hits from all different ones, but tours constantly. And I think that really attributes to their success and their relevancy, you know. And I think there's bands like that we really look up to and see that their hard work continues to keep them relevant.
So because of the two halves of the record kind of thing, the parallel tracks, what do you think is the best way to listen to the record and take the whole concept in?
I think the best way is really the way it's intended. Track 1 through 14, just listen to it as an album, because the way that the parallels work, it's cool to kind of pair the tracks up and listen to them in that sequence, but we were ordering the track listing by listening to it as a straight ahead thing.
As a first listen, yeah, I'd go through it. As maybe you want to try and get a little deeper into it, it might be worth going like 1 and 8, 2 and 9, and so on. And I think there's another side to it when you start doing it that way. And then maybe you hit shuffle and see what happens, which is also a way that I'm not fully against it.
Well, I think the thing too is that we don't have filler tracks, so it's not like, I think you could shuffle the record and it's all going to be songs that stand up to their own and listenability. Boom.
So you guys seem to be constantly touring, recording, and releasing new music. Is that reflective of the current music climate that you find yourselves in?
So I missed that last part?
Is that reflective of the current music environment that you find yourselves in?
I think it's just the creative spark that I think we have, because I don't think we've never been able to be forced to write or to release product. I think it's something that we've always initiated, so I don't really it's our own creativity and our own ideas that are making that happen.
Plus, you want to stay busy, right? This is our job, and the best part about being in a band isn't the time where you just sit on your ass and do nothing. You want to do this because you want to tour and because you want to write and release material and be productive, and so why stop doing that? I don't want to write a record and then sit around for a year. That would be boring.
Yeah.
Super boring.
So When Broken is Easily Fixed hasn't seemed to have dated since its release in comparison to your current music. What are your thoughts on that?
You think it hasn't dated
itself? Yeah, it hasn't dated. Yeah.
I think the recording's dated itself.
Yeah.
I think we still play those songs live, and they still have the same intensity as newer songs that they fit into a set. But I think the recording's dated itself just based on technology and our own personal abilities, and having Paul Mark in the band too. I think there's it's different, but I think that the nice thing is that we can play those songs and it works, and that's good. I think some bands maybe can't play their early stuff because it doesn't work in the set or the songs are unplayable, and I think it's relevant in that terms.
So what went on behind the scenes for this tour, and how did the set list come about?
Behind the scenes, first of all, there was a lot of planning on mostly Paul's part, and then for the rest of us, for the duration of this tour, it has been travel, just constant travel.
But even for the set list, it's really been something that we prepared.
Yeah.
We wanted to play, and I think we try to get a good mix because we have 6 albums. It's tough to condense that into a set, but I think we did a pretty good job on selecting what we did.
I think it's good. I think it's my favorite set we could be playing at this minute.
It really is. We haven't gotten sick of it. We've been playing it since January. It's been working out.
So it seems like you guys are back here quite regularly. Is Australia an international priority for the band?
We love it.
Yeah, I think maybe not all bands, but at least for us, we love Australia, so it's definitely a place we want to come. And the fact that you can come here and tour is even better. It's always a priority.
It took us 40 hours to get here, straight. 40 hours of travel.
40 hours of
from Germany. And when I got here, I wasn't even mad. I was just happy to be here. It kept me going. The whole time we were on the planes and waiting.
I had to remind him, I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
You're going to Australia.
You did.
As tired as you are right now, as much as you hate our airline, think about where you're going.
And I actually had a hard time thinking about it at the time. But when we showed up in Adelaide, when we landed, and I walked outside, and I had a cigarette, because I really wanted one of those. Once all that happened, I was so happy to be here, and now I don't want to go home is the thing. Except though it's, mostly probably because it's far, but also because I love Australia.
Well, thanks for taking time, AMH TV today.
Absolutely.
Thank you.